thought you could get away with it, huh? Especially when you just shook the world.
What are you talking about, you capitalist dog?
Your commie ears deaf from what happened yesterday? I'm pretty sure everyone heard the gunshot.
Look here, we can't be assigning blame like this. We were just enjoying a vacation we've been planning for months.
You American scum are always suspicious of our whereabouts. How about you start focusing on your declining country?
Our country's declining? Well, maybe if Russia wasn't a second world country, you wouldn't have to do any of these publicity stunts.
A classic case of prisoner's dilemma. The idea for a major key point under the umbrella of game theory was set forth by the mathematician and Nobel laureate John Forbes Nash. A great example of his idea, named after him as the Nash equilibrium, can be seen in the story of the movie based on his best-selling biography, A Beautiful Mind. Back to the tape. What we know so far is this. Neither of the two suspects are aware of each other's decisions. No matter what motherland they swore to, each has the capability to change their mind. If both were to literally stay true to their word regardless of any techniques used by the interrogator, then they would both end up with the cooperative equilibrium, minimizing the total time they both have in jail. But because their spirits aren't as strong as they seem, they both still have two options, to either confess or not to. The lack of knowledge incorporated into their decision-making process is ultimately what results in the Nash, or non-cooperative, equilibrium.
But, back to the case. We have some information regarding surveillance retrieved from the site of the president's assassination. What we've been able to discern is that there are at least two culprits who enacted the murder.
You said publicity stunts? Pah! You capitalist dogs are all the same, always picking on us hard-working Russians. Anyways, you found two culprits. What does this have to do with me?
Well, you and a friend of yours were in the general vicinity when it happened.
Pure coincidence. How could we have assassinated the president, the great leader of our world? Do you know how ridiculous you sound right now?
If you can stop playing games now, it's clear what you're trying to do. It's not gonna work. It would be in your best interest to tell me what you know.
I have nothing else to say to you. You are wasting my time.
You and I both know why you're here. In the interest of making things a lot easier for the both of us, why don't you just tell me what I need to know?
I would, but you haven't told me what you want to know.
Don't play dumb with me. You know exactly what I'm asking for.
Huh. I'm just an innocent tourist that you unlawfully kidnapped. Don't I have a right to a lawyer or something?
You know, if you just stop dancing around these questions, we might get somewhere favorable for the both of us. Tell you what, I know that the two culprits are either you or your friend over there. I could easily pull some strings and make sure you get out with your life intact if you just tell me what I need to know. It's not like you won't be seeing anything different from what your buddy told me.
Here, we see the prisoner's dilemma. They each have an option to either confess or not to confess. However, since neither of them know what the other will do, they're forced to rely on their dominant strategy. To find out their dominant strategy, they must play out what the other may or may not do. For instance, in the case of Glaz, if Tachanka does not confess, he gets less time by confessing. Likewise, if Tachanka does confess, he also gets less time by confessing. Theoretically, if both were allowed to collude, they could both not confess and get the lowest amount of time, but since the option is uncertain, his dominant strategy is to confess no matter what Tachanka does.
Tachanka broke?
Broke? You wouldn't use that word unless you had something to keep from me. But yeah, your partner broke and spilled everything. I confess that crime and I'll lay it out for you. Do it now, and only your friend will be locked up for your life. You'll be released for cooperation.
That's not the Tachanka I know. Do you think you can lie to my face?
You can believe me or not. It doesn't change the outcome of my meeting with your friend. Even the strongest men can break with enough time.
A life sentence? Don't you think that's a bit harsh?
At least one of you have just murdered the goddamn president. And that'll change the world forever. And you think jail time is just harsh?
I won't give in to your lip service, but if you can get me some compensation, I may be able to give you some intel.
How about this? Name your price, and if I like what I hear, you'll get your end of the bargain. On top of that, I'll even let you go scot-free as long as your buddy doesn't confess.
See, I knew you were a reasonable man. Isn't money a beautiful thing?
Absolutely. But I'm going to need to hear what you have to say first before I finalize the deal.
Alright, here's what went down. Tachanka and I had recently been commissioned to assassinate the president while he was on his tour. Tachanka refused to accept the money and did it purely in the name of Russia. And as a result, I ended up taking his pay as well.
Due to their inability to discuss their strategies or collude, the interrogator appeals to Glaz's best interest, prompting him to make a decision that benefits him regardless of what Tachanka does. Rather than rely on the trust of another criminal, they believe that there is no way to tell for certain what their partner will do.
Perhaps it is best for me to confess. I can take the blame for Mother Russia and Glaz. He must have already been murdered by these dogs.
I confess. I did it. I killed your leader. Just tell me what you did to Glaz.
For a bunch of Russian patriots, your resolve is pretty weak. Your buddy there was fine all along. He even confessed like you did.
That coward. I never trusted that spineless rat.
And the both of you will stay in prison for a very long time. But hey, it's better than doing life, unless you both lose your lives by getting murdered.